Stampers, this is Nancy Novak and my website is www.stampinshout.com, and today I want to share with you a card I made for 4th of July, and I made this using Stampin' Up's Jar of Love stamp set, and there's also a coordinating framelit set with all of these pieces that you can cut out using the framelits. And this item is found in Stampin' Up's catalog. It's on page 75. And all of the products that I use are Stampin' Up. So whenever you see a video or a card that I made, it's by Stampin' Up. And if you ever have any questions or you need to make a purchase, you can always email me and I'd be glad to help you. So right now, let's get started making this cute card. I love this card. Start off with your basic Whisper White, which is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Piece of Real Red for the matte, which is 5 1/4 by 4. Smaller piece of Whisper White, which is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and then 2 strips Real Red and Pacific Blue, and those are 5 inches by 1/2 inch. So we'll put those aside, and the first thing we're going to do is stamp our jars, and we are going to stamp those on scrap pieces of paper. That's why I say always save your scraps, because these little pieces of paper we're going to use today for our card. So I am using the Basic Gray Archival ink, and I'm going to stamp a jar in the Real Red and Whisper White and Pacific Blue. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate the white with the zigzag. Let me bring in a scrap piece of paper. I can catch my extra ink. So I'm using Real Red ink, and the zigzag I'm using is from the Work of Art stamp set. So we just have to stamp it right in the middle, and then we're going to cut that out in a minute. And then we're going to bring in the red and the blue and decorate those. The way we're going to decorate those is with Versamark and white embossing powder. So I'm cleaning off my stamp from the red ink, and I want to make sure it's clean, get rid of all that red ink, and then we're going to bring in the Versamark and ink it up, and I'm doing the zigzag in Versamark on the red jar. Just stamp it in the middle. And then I have a little star stamp. My star stamp is from the Holiday Home Collection, and you could use a star, you could use little dots. I'm sure you have some little type of stamp. You'll be surprised, and you can use that for the blue jar. So again, stamp it up in Versamark. Stamp your stars wherever you want. No rhyme or reason, just whatever you feel like. It's your card, you can do whatever you want. Then we're going to bring in the white embossing powder. I like to emboss on a piece of scrap paper that I folded in half like this. That way it'll catch the powder and makes it easy to pour back into the jar. So basically we're just going to sprinkle this white embossing powder. Tap it off. And then we're going to pour the excess back into our jar. And then we're going to heat this real quick with our heat gun. It's going to get noisy for a second. So you would heat both of those. And then what I did was I fussy cut this out. Now you have the framelits. You can use the framelits, but I just wanted to show you real quick how to fussy cut. And you basically just have to move the paper And I never cut right up to the stamping line. I always leave a little border. It just makes the card look more natural when you're done. You don't have to worry about being perfect. And that's it. But again, the framelits that come with this set, there are so many to cut out the flowers and the leaves, so that's an excellent deal. That's a way to save 10% on your purchase. Now, to save time, I have these already done. So the next step is going to be to put them on our card. And the way I did that was, I'm going to put this on here so you can see what I'm doing. I'll put it on the red, it'll be easier to see. We're going to snail the smaller white piece on the red. And then the next thing I did was to stamp the word celebrate before I did anything else, because I'm going to attach that to my card and use it as a guide when I do the rest of it. So I'm going to stamp that real quick with the real red ink. And then I used the word window punch to punch that out. If you do not have the word window punch, unfortunately it's retired, but you can always just do a little 3/8 inch piece of Whisper White and cut it out that way. Or you could stamp right on your card. That's another way. So I'm going to attach this, and I'm going to put this right in the middle of my card at the bottom. And again, I'm going to use it as a guide. So let's see, I'm just going to put it right in the middle. The Tombow glue is nice because it's forgiving and you can move your piece around if you need to, if you don't get it right in the middle. And then the next thing I'm going to do is stamp my fireworks, which are these leaves. And the way I did that was, I took 3 pieces, scrap pieces of paper. You could use squares, or these are actually the jars that were extras that I had. And I'm going to put a tiny piece of snail on here, and I'm going to use it to mask where my jars are going to go. So you just kind of lay that down like that. And then I'm going to bring back in the real red, and I'm going to stamp my fireworks. And I need one more piece to mask my celebrate. There we go. So I'll put a firework there, and I'll put one over here. And now I'm going to bring in the, clean this and stamp in blue. I hope this doesn't seem like it's too hard or too busy or too difficult, because it's really quite easy. And it's so pretty. So now we're going to do blue. And make sure my stamp is clean of the red. Bring in the blue. Now you can see I made a little tiny mistake right there. A little bit of didn't cover as well, but it's okay because we can just put the blue there close to it and it'll be fine. Whenever you make cards, there's always some way to cover up what you think is a boo-boo and no one else sees it. Okay, so that part is done. It's looking good. So we're just going to pull these off, and we just put a little bit of snail on there so they come off really easy. Then the next thing is to put dimensionals on the back of the blue jar, which is going to go in the middle, and you put them just down the center. I'm going to take the top dimensional off, and I have a piece of thick baked brown sugar twine, and I'm going to tie a little bow. So this is about 15 inches long. So I'm going to put the center of it on that sticky, and I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to wrap it around the other way, and I'm either going to tie a bow or a knot, depending on how well this goes. It's always a lot of pressure to tie a bow on video. There you go. So now we're going to attach that to our card. So we take off the dimensionals, and again that Celebrate is going to be used as my guide. First thing, I almost always forget this, let's put our stripes on. This makes the card look so cool. So I'll put some Tombow glue on my stripe, use the Celebrate as a guide, and lay it down right there. And then I have another little scrap piece that I'm going to use as a guide and lay my red stripe down. This card is so cute. Okay, now we're going to lay our blue jar down right in the center. That's on dimensionals. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back of the red and just slide it under. There you go. And then Tombow glue on the white jar. Slide it under the blue. And then we're going to attach it to our card base. I think I'll use snail for that. And there you have it. But one little extra thing to do. I have this little tiny stamp that comes in the set. It's this little tiny piece right there. And I thought that was cute for like the little sparks that are coming off of the fireworks. So I just stamped a few of those here and there. And I'm going to stamp some in red too. Isn't this cute? Okay. That's it, it's done. Now the card I did, I also added "Have a Blessed Day" inside. And I used the Thoughtful Banners. And I love this set because there are so many words in here. You can use them for almost any card. Father's Day, Mother's Day, just, I'm using it for the 4th of July. I just love it. So there you go. I also want to share with you one other card that I made using this stamp set, the Jar of Love. I made this one. Now here's the larger mason jar. A little bit of blue. There's a stamp in there. Makes it look like water. Here's the same leaf I used, but I stamped it in green. And here are some of the flowers. So there's the Peekaboo Peach, and it's a 2-step stamp. So I did it in Peekaboo Peach, and then I did the littler stamp in Peekaboo Peach, and it came through darker. And same thing with the pink flowers. And that's it. So I've got a whole new card right there. Lots of versatility with this stamp set. And that's it for today. I hope you liked my video. Come back and see me soon. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.